additive manufacturing is making an incredible difference in the medical industry. From 3D printed hearts to knee replacements and 3D scanners, 3D technologies can change or even save millions of lives. Another interesting aspect of using 3D printing in this field is prosthetics. You might have heard about 3D printed prosthetic arms, but that's not all there is to it. How else can we benefit from additive manufacturing when it comes to prosthetics design? In this video, we'll go through all the advantages of additive manufacturing for this sector and see what the latest innovations and evolutions are regarding 3D printed garments. But before you continue, subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon to get notified when we post new content. The medical sector benefits from the wide range of advantages that is offered by additive manufacturing. Thanks to the mass customization opportunities and the flexibility of the manufacturing and design processes, 3D printing becomes a real alternative for this sector. In the future, this manufacturing technology could be used to replace human organ transplants, significantly speed up surgical procedures, but also produce cheaper and more adaptable versions of required surgical tools. Using technology to rethink and improve the way we produce medical devices leads to great opportunities. This technology can also improve the lives of those reliant on prosthetic limbs. That is a fact. We can notice a growing interest in adapted orthopedic insoles, orthoses, and prosthetics manufactured using additive manufacturing. Thanks to the constant evolution of 3D printing technologies, the medical industry is facing new challenges. In its own way, 3D printing is revolutionizing the field of rehabilitative medicine and tackling a particular issue: prosthetics. According to NGO LIMS, only 5% of the nearly 400 million amputees in the developing world have access to prosthetic devices or assistance. Many companies such as Unique are using the advantages of generative design and additive manufacturing to create a brand new approach to prosthetics, both in terms of form and functionality. Indeed, some companies are focusing on bringing these advantages to the developing world, to the amputees in environments that lack the medical infrastructure or resources. The goal here is to support the labor-intensive and expensive prospect of traditional prosthetic manufacturing. Manufacturing adapted and quality devices for amputees is actually a struggle all over the world, as these prosthetics are expensive and most of the time poorly adapted to the patient's particularities. New technologies such as this one can also be a major advantage for prosthetists, helping them in the development of customizable prostheses. From the creation of 3D printed prosthetic hands to functional wrists, solutions can be offered with additive manufacturing. Engineers and researchers are opening new possibilities for prosthetics. .3D printing prosthetics allows you to innovate without worrying about the limitations of traditional manufacturing. Thanks to 3D printers, rapid prototyping has never been so easy. You can iterate your ideas and projects faster thanks to this technology. Going further than traditional prosthetics manufacturing will enable great future developments. "3D printing also makes customizing and creating adaptable prosthetics much easier. The customization part is the most important argument here. Getting adapted devices and prosthetics will benefit the patients and improve their quality of life during a limb loss. You can create customizable functional prosthetics thanks to 3D printers. "3D printed prosthetics are quite cheap. Developing such a complex project as prosthetics is expensive with traditional manufacturing techniques. This is especially if you want to adapt it to the morphology of the patient. As a result, additive manufacturing appears to be the most efficient technique to get low-cost prosthetics. The technology is becoming a life-changing solution to produce prosthetics in areas where the access to such devices is complicated or even impossible. With this technology, there's no minimum order and there's no need to build an expensive mold. You only need a 3D file to print your projects. The prosthetics are better and more efficient since they are custom-made. However, the customization can be quite expensive with traditional manufacturing. There are several 3D printed prosthetics projects that have already been developed all around the world. Let's find out how 3D printing materials and technologies are helping to create functional artificial limbs. Here are some few examples of 3D printed prosthetics. Lorenzo Spreafico is a student at the University of Leeds. He created a prosthetic arm with vibrotactile feedback. The student implemented pressure sensors at the tip of each finger of the prosthesis. This means that the amputee can feel when they are touching something. The prosthetic arm was his final year project in the Product Design Bachelor's at the University of Leeds in the UK. Thanks to additive manufacturing, Lorenzo was able to lower the price of the device. The first prototype, called the T1, was sold under €3,500. According to Lorenzo, there's a huge gap in the development of prosthetics, and although he is developing extremely advanced technology to simulate human movement and dexterity, there is much less work done when it comes to simulating human touch. This might not come as a surprise to you, but it is a topic worth mentioning. According to research done by Amputee Coalition, on average, there's an amputation done every 30 seconds, and life after such a procedure is hard. But there are people out there who are using the latest technology innovations to help others. For example, Enable is a global network of passionate volunteers who help amputees. Thanks to 3D printing, amputees can now have e-enabled devices in a short amount of time. The prosthetic arm is fully customizable, matching the limb of the user, and it also costs only a fraction of normal prosthetic costs. Finally, it dramatically improves the life of the amputee. Bringing all those aspects together in one product was impossible before additive manufacturing. Prosthetics are either cheap but not functional or personalized. And when they are personalized, they are very expensive and always take a lot of time to produce. 3D printing is truly changing the world of medicine and engineering by enabling the production of low-cost prosthetics that are customizable to the user. Looking absolutely stunning and even impossible, the Exo by William Root breaks the boundaries of logic. The designer brings a new level of the aesthetics of prosthetics with his creation. His prosthetic leg is not only beautiful, but also functional. First of all, the designer improved the time-consuming process of manufacturing a prosthesis. Normally, the amputee had to have a mold done of his limb, then a cast was made, vacuum form, check for fit, assembly, and then adjustments were done. Of course, the tedious process had to be repeated again and again until the fit was just right. But when it comes to 3D printing, you simply need to scan the limb, adjust the 3D model, and print the design. This is simple, fast, and effective. In addition to that, the model comes out quite beautifully. The prosthesis can be fully customized to the user to express his character and is more comfortable. Hero Arm is a project developed by Open Bionics who aims to turn disabilities into superpowers with 3D printed bionic arms for children and adults. Using selective laser sintering 3D printing with nylon PA12, they develop prosthetic covers inspired by superheroes such as Iron Man or fictional universes such as Star Wars or Frozen. Guillermo Martinez is the founder of Ayudem 3D. The designer went from building robots to building prosthetic hands. At first, the project was just done for fun, but now he helps people in Kenya by developing prosthetic limbs, helping amputees live a more normal life. Martinez went to Kenya and tested out the prosthesis and saw that people were getting to grips with it quickly after using it. This felt great. He considered stopping there, but loved the idea of being able to help others so much that he decided to start. Resources in Kenya are limited, and Martinez managed to create hands costing only about $50 thanks to 3D printing. But people are not the only ones whose lives changed thanks to additive manufacturing. You might have seen a few animals, such as a penguin and a duck, with a prosthesis. In this section, we'll talk about Millie, the greyhound from Australia. This is a rescued dog, which was kicked out because of a bad paw. Unfortunately, professional prosthetics cost over $10,000 and they're not personalized. The owners turned to Autodesk, a leader in 3D modeling and CAD software. With Fusion 360, they designed a new ideally fitting prosthesis and then 3D printed it. Most of all, the 3D printed prosthesis matches exactly the needs of Millie and her limb. The prosthesis doesn't cause her any discomfort and allows her to play and be a happy pup. It was also a quick process, and on top of everything, it was much cheaper. So what is next for 3D printed prosthetics? The future definitely looks bright. As we've seen in this video, the presented examples show how beneficial additive manufacturing is to the medical industry. 3D printed prosthetics are much cheaper by thousands of dollars. Moreover, they can be customized and are much comfortable, fitting exactly to the limb and do not cause pain to the user. This level of personalization has never been achievable before with traditional manufacturing.